And Rob, Pat Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs had a win yesterday. Close one. Close call, 33-31 over Carolina. And I think Pat Mahomes had another, huge performance. As he, especially these last few weeks, he's really been lighting it up. But he threw for 372 yards, 4 touchdowns. Now he has 25 touchdowns and 1 pick. Period. That is an incredible statistic. 25 touchdowns, 1 pick. And I think, Rob, his performance combined with Russell Wilson's bad game or poor game against Buffalo. Russell had 2 touchdowns. They lost 44-34. But he also had 2 interceptions and 2 fumbles. And so I think that those 2 things combined, I think Pat Mahomes has pulled ahead of Russell Wilson. Now it's 9 weeks in. This is kind of like the Heisman. We'll be doing our weekly updates. But I think that Mahomes now has pulled ahead in the race for the MVP. And one thing I look at, he hasn't had any bad games. He's had some games where he only had, as you mentioned earlier, 2 touchdowns. He even had a game they routed Denver. He had 1 touchdown. But he's yet to have any bad games. And that's because he doesn't turn the ball over. I mean, it's hard to have a bad game when you complete, 67% of your passes and you don't turn the ball over. And so for those reasons and more, I think that Mahomes, for now, has moved ahead of Wilson, who I think has been the MVP, for just about every week up until now. I would go Wilson second, Aaron Rodgers third, and then it's really those 3 right now. And then you got a Josh Allen. Brady obviously takes a step back. Allen played well, but he's not really in it to that degree because he's had a few subpar performances as well. But there are also a record that Mahomes broke, and it was that he became the fastest player to 100 touchdowns. And he threw for his 100th touchdown in 40 games. Now, Dan Marino had owned the record for decades where he threw for 100 touchdowns in 44 games. So Mahomes breaks that. But there was another record that was tied of Marino's. Marino was just they took the eraser to Marino's name in the record book. And you think it was even more impressive than what Mahomes did.
Yeah, the last time we heard Dan Marino's name, it wasn't good news. And yesterday we heard it twice. And it wasn't good news because 2 quarterbacks really, have eclipsed things that he did. And he was a great player. I mean, I remember Dan Marino, and you know this, Chris, from the very beginning. I mean, he was just and he went to the Super Bowl his second year, and people thought Miami's great. Oh my God, wait till he gets a little bit better and whatever. Yep. And they never got back.
Which is incredible. And it's a shame because obviously he's still viewed as a great quarterback and an all-time great Hall of Famer, all that. But it's a shame he never won a Super Bowl, Rob.
No. And he never even got back against him. Right. Yeah. It was amazing when you think about and how good he was and all that. But yeah, there were two records yesterday. I wrote a column for Deadspin today, and I just thought that Lamar Jackson's record of going 25-5 in his first 30 games as a starter was more impressive. Not that what Mahomes has done, I'm not poo-pooing it. I think the game has just changed a lot where throwing is such a big part of it. A lot of the numbers, Chris, we talk about it when we look back in the past. All the numbers are skewed, right? All the passing numbers, because it's just a different game. And that's not a knock on Mahomes. He's doing what the game plan calls for, right? But to win at a historic pace, and obviously if they win, he tied the record 25-5 with Dan Marino. It's the best start of anybody in the NFL since 1966. And I just put a premium at winning. And you could say, well, he's got this, he's got that. It's a team. But we do look at the quarterbacks, and we do look at them and their record and when they win. And as a starter, we don't do that for any other player. We don't have the wide receiver's record when he plays. You know what I mean, Chris? It's always about the quarterback. And I'm very, very impressed at where he is. And this is not talking about a Lifetime Achievement Award or what he's done in the postseason. It's just that this league's been around for a long time.
There'd be no contest. I mean,
no, you can't. One guy's won a Super Bowl, right, and the other guy hasn't. So there's you can't have a debate about that. But I don't know. Where are you on which one is more impressive? The 100 touchdowns or the winning at that kind of historic clip? Or are they the same? Where are you?
Yeah, I think it's hard to compare because to me, to some degree, it's apples and oranges because you're talking about wins, which is obviously the most important thing, but that's a team, and you're talking about an individual achievement. Mahomes is, I think, 23-7 in his first 30 games, so not as good as Jackson as far as the wins, but obviously still very good. It's a little hard for me to divorce the discussion from the postseason, just because we know, what happened. It's like, we know Mahomes has the Super Bowl. We know he also had the appearance in the AFC Championship, and we know Lamar hasn't won, is 0-2 in the playoffs. So it's hard to kind of get that out of the mind. But I think ultimately it's about winning. I don't think there's any question who the better quarterback is. I would take Pat Mahomes all day, every day over Lamar. And Lamar is really good. I like him, but I take Mahomes. But, 25-5, it's good. It's really good. I mean, like you said, nobody's done it since Dan Marino. It takes a little bit of the shine off that, they got destroyed by Kansas City and lost to Pittsburgh. Their wins haven't been the most impressive, but the Colts were playing well, and they beat them. Colts were 5-2 going into that game. But I do think.
And that was a come from behind. That was the first time.
Yeah, that was the first come from behind, which was impressive.
See, here's the other thing, too. When you go ahead. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, here's the other thing. I just don't think it's fair to look at him and paint him with some postseason loser because he's 0-2. He's only had one full regular season. He played 6 or 7 games his rookie year. They went to the playoffs. They lost. I'm not poo-pooing it, right. But he's played one full season. It's hard for me to take a look at that and go, he can't win in the playoffs. And that's what people have done to him. And I don't think it's fair.
Well, I was gonna say. I'm not painting him with a broad brush saying he can't win in the playoffs.
I'm talking about some people.
Just pointing out he's 0-2. But I think the reason people do that, and I think this is fair. I mean, I don't think, like you said, you can't brand him a loser or anything like that. He's young and got a long way to go. But I think the reason people question it is because his style is so different. Like if he were a passer, if he were a guy like Mahomes or somebody else, any of these other guys, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, any of these guys that throw it as much as most quarterbacks and as well as the top quarterbacks, I don't think people would necessarily be questioning it because I think what they're questioning is not Lamar, it's his style. And it's can you win big in the playoffs running the ball that much with your quarterback? And what people have said, and I think it's fair, is that if you get behind, it's tough to come back and win. Because they have
So what if they're not behind and they're ahead?
Well,
and they just win?
if they get ahead, that's great. That's what that style is built for. Because you can run the ball.
One quick hypothetical. You said you'd take Patrick Mahomes all day.
No question.
If Lamar beats him in the playoffs, just say they meet in the AFC Championship game, where would that change your mind on it?
No, not at all. Okay. I mean, I'm watching their games. I mean, and Lamar, I would expect that. I'm asking if
he wins and he went to the Super Bowl.
Brady beat him 2 years ago. That wouldn't take Brady over him. Not now, obviously. Lamar, it's the way he plays. He's not a great passer. He's just not at this point.
He's just a winner.
Well, I mean, we'll see if he can win in the playoffs. I mean, winning in the regular season is nice, but you got to win in the playoffs. But it's not even a question. And I would expect Lamar at some point to win a playoff game against Patrick Mahomes.
I still believe Baltimore is going to get to the Super Bowl this year.
I don't, but that's your pick, and you got a right to stay with it. But I think at some point he may have a victory over Mahomes. Mahomes is going to lose in the playoffs, going forward at some point. So, but no, I just think he's a far better quarterback, and I would take him. All right.